So
But anyway,
good discussion. There's a lot of other ideas coming out of the network today. I was seeing some ideas about some watch-alongs for NWA, WWF from the 80s and that kind of thing. But there's another show, another thing that we want to talk about and maybe experience tonight. Amy, why don't you tell us about it?
Yes. So, first off, I don't think I said this. Thanks for having me. I
Of
got
course.
disturbed when you said you didn't have any information about my shows. You hadn't done research, so I got kind of thrown off. So, uh, you'll do better next time, right? You'll do
Exactly.
better next
Well,
time.
we got this out of it, right?
I I always love to ask questions and learn about people. I think that's a really fun thing to do. So I will have a show on the network. It's going to be called Amy Asks or Double A. Huh. Wonder where I got that from. Uh,
you're
and
welcome.
I know, as always. Um, but basically, what I'm going to do, especially for my collaborators, I've got a list of it's called small talk, little icebreakers, questions that I want to ask, and you all get to answer it. And you don't know what it's going to be about. I don't know either. I randomly draw out of a box that I have, and my plan is to continue to ask all our people on the network eventually, grab some Patreons that we have and, get them involved in our audience because, like I said, I think it's kind of fun and I don't know too many people who don't like to talk about themselves, right?
Right. And I have an idea. Speaking of people
Oh,
that like to talk about themselves, hey, producer, why don't you come on stage with us here?
oh
Why don't you join in
yes.
for this?
Bonjour. Hello, my friends.
So, just back from Paris, and we'll get more into that later. But the producer is on the show, and she's going to join in for Amy Asks. Welcome.
Amy, I'm so
Yes.
excited. Let's
I
do
think
this. I'm ready.
this is going to be so fun. Like I said, I love getting to know people. Okay. First question. Would you ever consider being a coach? Why or why not? So, would you ever, and this is sports related. So, would you ever consider being a sports coach? Why and why not? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
And I've done this a little bit with my sons. I didn't coach my daughter any, but I've got two sons and a daughter. And I coached a little bit with both of my sons. And my oldest son, I was on the baseball field with him one day, and I'm trying to coach him up a little bit. And he turns around and looks at me and he says, Dad, if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to throw this ball in your face.
Whoops.
So I don't know that I'm a great coach, but I have done that. I'm willing. I just don't know if I'm able.
Interesting. You're willing, but you don't know how the participants will take.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say probably you probably need to stay away from it, right? Like it's just
Maybe so. At least with
the
my kids.
at least with your kids. The Padusa. I can't say it like
Andrew, you
Uh,
want
the,
to?
it's the producer, yeah,
There you
the
go.
from
Padusa.
Yankee Country,
Yeah.
Yeah.
God's
So,
team.
yeah, God's team. That's right. So for me, no. A leader, yes. A coach, absolutely not. If we're talking sports, I'm way too competitive. Um, Also, my neurodivergence hates to see people cheat and get away with it. And in
Mm.
sports, I can't handle it. I lose my shit. So, as a coach, you can't do that. So,
I don't know. Have you seen that LSU woman's coach? What's her
I
name?
don't
She's
know. I've seen a lot of
constantly.
coaches lose their
I
shit.
I love her. Do
I do
not
too.
I
talk
do
No,
love
badly.
that. Yeah.
no, I
Um,
love her too. I think it's fascinating. I love it. I love
but
it when a coach fights for her team like that.
but there you go. That's what I was gonna say. There have been known to go to bat for people, like Andrew, as they say, go to the mattresses for them. So it's what we do for our people.
Hmm.
So you know, Andrew, what
Andrew.
about you?
My answer is yes if I had time, because I am far more mellow than I used to be, and I am a very good teacher. So that's the element people don't always see. They don't get on this show. Is I coach people every day. I am a general manager of a car dealership.
Mhm.
So coaching a football team, something that I love, would not be that much different. The biggest difference is they're children, not adults. So I
You want
actually
to
have
coach children or adult? What did you say? I didn't.
I coach adults at work. Sometimes they act like children, but they're adults. This would be coaching children or young people. And I know you find this hard to believe, and you've all known me for years, am very patient when I'm teaching, not patient any other time.
No.
I think you would be a great coach, Andrew. I really do.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. This is a fun question. I like when because I randomly draw these. So it's always, I never know exactly what I'm going to do. What is your favorite language to hear spoken?
Oh, that's easy. Italian.
Yeah, she stole it from me. Definitely Italian.
Oh, yeah.
It's hot.
It's so hot.
And I speak Spanish, but it ain't Italian.
I don't know that I have an answer. I may say French. I'm just thinking about a French girl
Terry's a German guy.
speaking softly.
He loves when they start yelling.
Just go back
and
to
what she might
France.
be saying to me, and I have no idea, you know.
Russian.
Come here.
So,
Although, hold on, hold the phone, because Scottish and Irish are up there, right, Amy?
very
But that,
much so.
well,
That's accents. That's not language.
yeah, that's not
They're
language. That's
Gaelic,
why
yeah.
hey, if we're going with accents, then I
hey.
got to change my answer.
Gaelic
you know-
Gaelic is a language.
I know, but Adam
I'll take
O'Neill's
Gaelic.
accent is
I mean, we're
his
going to start
accent.
talking about
He
Becky
doesn't-
Lynch again pretty soon,
Yeah,
aren't we?
he did-
Well, but he does say words that are different. I mean, it is a language, and I mean,
You know, the problem is you're from Kentucky and he's from Ireland, and they use proper English and we don't. That's what the difference is.
he says
So the-
churchy tree. Woo, gives me coat chills. All right. So we have 2 Italians, maybe some Irish and French. I like that. Ooh. Okay.
Mhm.
If you could meet any historical figure, who would it be and why?
It would be Nixon, so I could tell him to not break into the Watergate Hotel. So, fun fact, Richard Nixon wins the 1972 election 535 to 3. George McGovern only won his home state of South Dakota, which was worth 3 electoral votes. Nixon won the popular vote by over 15 million, was so paranoid he recorded everything and thought that George fucking McGovern had a chance to beat him in the 1972 election. I love Richard Nixon, and maybe it's because he was a criminal. I don't know. But I would go back in time and tell Tricky Dick to delete the tapes and don't break into the Watergate Hotel.
You know, I think that's funny that you said that. You know, I don't think we'll ever have an election that is like you said. So, I mean, he won the popular vote. He won the, you know, nowadays it's so 49 fit, you know, like it's just crazy how divided that is. But, you know, that's my first thought when you said that about
Well, the 6% was a big win when Obama beat Romney in 2012. It was a
Right.
huge win because it was 15 or 20 million votes. But you're not going to see the Walter Mondale, Ronald Reagan of 84. You're not going
Right.
to see George Bush, Michael Dukakis of 88. You're not going to see Nixon and McGovern in 72 anymore. It doesn't happen. There's no landslides like that.
I know.
One
it's kinda
side's greatest is
crazy.
the other side's worst at this point.
Right. All right. Historical figures. We've got Richard Nixon. What do you think?
That'll
You
get
going
some
next?
clicks.
Do you know yours, producer?
I'm tied, so you go ahead.
Okay, well, I didn't have one off the top of my head, and this, for whatever reason, popped in my head. But Shakespeare, it'd be interesting to speak to Shakespeare because, I mean, this is a guy that through his writing invented words that we use normally, and we don't really think about that. But it would be interesting to speak to somebody with, he's got to be an intelligent guy to write all of that, and it'd be interesting to just understand how he spoke to people normally. Might be like the worst
Mhm.
experience ever, but who knows?
Okay, so I'm gonna go off of Terry's story and watch how I weave this one.
We
In Paris, I'm weaving, baby, I'm weaving. I went to a bookstore called Shakespeare and Company, where I
Oh.
bought Mr. Andrew a present, which is French Cooking by the Julia Child. Julia Child, historic. I don't know if you'd call her historic. I would. She is somebody I would have loved to like sit at the altar of and learn. I couldn't even imagine what that would have been like.
Mm-hmm.
I watched
Cool.
I don't know who else was in the movie, but I know Stanley Tucci was in it and I love him. I think it was it Meryl Streep who played her?
I want to say it was Meryl.
Yeah.
Might
Anyway,
not have
that
been.
movie made me love everything about her and French cooking. And I'm like, and you notice I said I didn't buy the cookbook for me because I'm not going to cook that. That's all
No.
Andrew.
But we are going to cook and we're going to review it on
Correct.
the RAM Network.
That's right.
Coming up in May.
Yes.
And we're starting with Sabatino's and Jimmy's in Baltimore.
Yes.
Not only that, later in this episode, we could quite possibly talk about Meryl Streep again. Foreshadowing. Anyway, let's move on.
Oh,
Interesting.
all right.
All right. Last question, and then I'll let
Mm.
you all finish. What is your favorite meal of the day?
Dinner, hands down,
How come?
because I don't really eat breakfast and my lunch is usually super tiny. So dinner, hands down. I like to eat, so the meal where I get the most food, that's easy.
I'm going to say the
Okay.
same thing, but I'm going to say it in the Southern way. Supper is my favorite.
I needed her to tell me that. I didn't know what dinner was, so I was
What's this dinner thing you're talking about? So, like, I don't eat breakfast. I drink a lot of coffee in the morning, basically. And then lunch is just like whatever I put together to eat at work.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of freedom for supper. I may make
Mhm.
bad choices, but that makes me enjoy it more anyway, at least in the moment.
So for me, it's breakfast. One of the hardest things about doing my new lifestyle is the 18-hour fast or whatever, 16-hour fast, is skipping breakfast because
Mhm.
I love all breakfast foods. Omelets, waffles, pancakes, bacon, sausage. I don't care. Love it all.
Biscuits.
So on the weekends, I will cook breakfast because I'm not taking eggs in the lunch bag. So I will, like this morning, I had omelet, but I had it at 2:00 in the afternoon. So
Mhm.
that's how I broke my fast today. Was with
Shout
omelet.
out to
Awesome.
Carl on the biscuits.
Mhm.
For those who know
Carl,
Carl.
the
That's
baker.
right. Carl
Carl
the
the
Baker.
Baker.
Longtime listener of the TNA Top 10
Very
podcast.
supportive.
Yeah.
Comments, votes, all that
He's
stuff.
a great pastry chef. I mean, he's looking, he'll post desserts and cupcakes. And I mean, I bet he could whip up all kinds of deliciousness.
Man.
But his
Talent.
biscuits are very good.
I am envious of talent like that. I love to cook, and I am envious that somebody can do that like that.
Yes.
I'm not a
yes.
baker, but I can cook.
Well, guys, I think so. Again, we all learned a little fun little fact about each other, and
Yeah.
we know some interesting. Like you said, Andrew, we know about you. We know that the other two are not really eating that much, but we know you love a breakfast and you're fasting. You told us that, and you would go back and change the trajectory of the world by telling Richard Nixon,
Mhm.
don't take, just let it go.
Yep.
Take
August
some,
9th, 1974.
Tell him to take some Zoloft or whatever he needs to calm down.
He was a
right?
potty mouth too. If you've ever heard the Watergate tapes, he uses motherfucker like I do. And I am so happy about that. Yeah, Richard Nixon was a racist, a bigot. Every word was on the table during the Watergate tapes, and they are fantastic to listen to the President of the United States talk like that. I am all for it. And they're
Happy
laughing
Easter,
at me,
everybody. Happy Easter.
Yeah, there's gonna be a surge, and YouTube's gonna be like, "What in the world? Why is everybody looking up Richard Nixon?"
So I think we found a
Okay,
clip for this week.
no kidding. Well,
Timestamp.
Thank you for
exactly.
joining us, Amy. This has been
Yes.
fantastic, and I can't
Yeah.
wait for your show.
Stick
Thank
around
you
as long
so
as you want
much.
to.
Well, you know how it is here at the Vaughn household. We got all kinds of stuff moving and shaking. But I really am glad that you all let me jump on. I want to eventually have you all on. We'll do a little bit longer. We'll ask a
Yeah.
little bit more questions. But like I said, but that's kind of the thought about it is, just getting to know each other and letting the audience know about us too.
Awesome.
Excellent. Thank you.
Bye,
It's been a
guys.
pleasure
Thank
having
you.
you. Thank you. Come back
Thank
anytime
you,
you
Amy.
want to.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was
All right.
fun.
Well, that was great. It was a lot of fun. We look forward to that show among others as we start putting stuff on the Patreon for the Ram Network.